Hey everybody, and welcome back to Life with Lolo. It is time for our weekly recap of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. This is season 1, episode 5, and it was titled Ladies Who Lunch. Alright, y'all. So I'm over Jen and I'm over Mary. Okay. I'm over both of them. This episode picked up where it kind of left off at the Met Gala luncheon or whatever, where the ladies was sitting up there, basically Mary and Jen going back and forth per usual. And the thing that irritated me about this is that Mary opened up the door for everybody to kind of share what they were feeling, what they were thinking, and how they are or whatever. So who had already went? Meredith went, Whitney went, then it was Jen's turn to go. Mary's own rule was to not interrupt while they're talking or whatever. So if somebody is talking and they're sharing their story or whatever, don't interrupt. But she couldn't even do that with Jen because she was mad at Jen for calling her a grandfather motherfucker. So you want to interrupt her and say, because Jen was like, well, I just say what everybody think or whatever. And she was like, I'm sure everybody doesn't think like you think. Okay. I'm sure that's not the case. And all this eye rolling and winky and all this other stuff and just too much. Like, it was just too much. And then Jen was like, well, you told me to say what I wanted to say or how I feel or where I'm coming from and why I act the way I act. But then when I tell you, you want to get upset. And basically, Mary was just upset because she was giving like an apology to Meredith, but she didn't give one to her. But if you would have shut up, you don't know what she would have gave you. Or you could have said to her, like, look, this is what you said at the party. I heard what you said at the party. I didn't appreciate what you said at the party. It was very disrespectful, and I feel as though you owe me an apology. Boom. That's all she had to say. But she got to go through all this extra, keep cutting people off, and Whitney like, well, I don't even understand how we got here. Heather is like, what is going on? Like, what else, child? Because then Mary was like, well, I don't understand why you always coming at me. Like, why are you always attacking me? Every party we're at, you're always attacking me and stuff. And I don't understand that and whatever like that. And so Jen getting loud. The restaurant people looking like, what is this ghetto ass mess? Then Mary was basically like, well, look, bye, Jen. She kicked her out. So Heather was like, no. You want her to stay? No, I don't want her to stay. I don't want her to stay. I don't want her to stay. Like all this eye movement and whatnot. Whitney like, look, I just came for the pasta. Jen stands up, and then Mary all like, well, what you gonna do? What you gonna beat my ass? You gonna beat my ass? Huh? You gonna beat my ass? I'm like, oh my God. Lisa like, look, what is going on? Heather like, I just want everyone to work this out. Like, everyone needs to just work this out. Like, just let us know what happened so the score can be settled and stuff. And Mary is like, look, Whitney trying to chime in. Mary like, girl, hush. You don't know what's going on. She called me a grandfather motherfucker. I got a whole problem about that. Then Heather, we see her outside because Jen finally left. But she left her coat and stuff. And I'm like, well, girl, get your coat. So we already knew she wasn't leaving for real. So Heather out there talking to her, trying to calm her down and stuff. And Jen is like, no, because she want to get all loud with me and yada, yada, yada. Heather brings Jen back in because inside, Mary, before she brought her inside, Lisa was trying to talk to Mary and Whitney was trying to talk to Mary, and they was just trying to figure out what was going on. I think Meredith said something too. And she was like, look, because she always coming at me and I don't like that. And then Heather brought Jen back in, and she was like, oh God, Jesus Christ. Like, why? Just why? So then Lisa like, look, it's some unresolved feelings and stuff like that, and we just going around in a circle. Heather is like, look, we just need to kind of get this out. She was trying to tell you how she was feeling, and you kind of criticized her. I didn't criticize her. See, you're two-faced. You got two faces, and all I know is one. I'm like, what is she talking? I'm like, what is she talking about? And so Jen is saying again, like, I tried to open up. You said you wanted me to open up. Then you want to cut the legs from underneath me or whatever. And she was like, well, I didn't know. I said, you were the one who set the rule. Like, the fuck? So, that shit gets on my nerves. Don't set no rules you can't follow yourself. Like, that irritates me. And so they basically trying to talk to Mary. She cutting Heather off. She cutting Whitney off. And then Jen busts out with you black or something like that, and talking about, because as you talking about something, you don't want to go to 7-Eleven because it's a whole bunch of black guys out front of 7-Eleven, so you keep going around you go past or you go to a different 7-Eleven. And she was like, you do know that you're black, don't you? She was like, yeah, I know I'm black. Like, oh gosh, she was like, convenience, because so Mary was telling us like convenience stores equal violence to her, and in hospitals she just can't stand the smell, and that's not anything strange. The convenience store is okay, that's kind of weird, but hospitals, I've heard other people say like they can't stand the smell of hospitals. It makes them nauseous or brings back memories and stuff like that. So what Mary is saying about hospitals is not strange. The convenience store thing, I'm like, that's kind of weird, but whatever. Jen basically was like, I'm out of here. Peace out to everybody. And here go Mary. Can you hand me her earbuds? Because I want those back. I want those back. I said, oh my God. Something wrong with that lady. Something wrong with her. So then we see Mary. She with her housekeeper. They talking. Meredith was Brooks. And Brooks was like, well, did you get your apology? She was like, I mean, it was kind of like a apology. Here's like, did she apologize or no? Like, what did she do? And then Lisa, she with her family. So then we stop at Heather's house. And she's chatting with her girls. She's making bacon for her 3 girls. Or I think, was it 3 of them sitting there? Yeah, three girls or whatever. And then we're waiting for the oldest one's boyfriend to come. And she was telling us, like, in the Mormon church or whatever, they don't want them going on school dances with the same guy every year because that mean they getting close to each other, and then that could equal sex. I'm like, what? So you want them to have a different person all the time? Okay. So she was telling them, like, she gonna be late getting home or something like that, and if they wanted to go to church in the morning, they can go to church in the morning or whatever. But if not, we'll just go a different time. The kids don't really want to go to church because they saying like the church is real judgy. They're real judgmental and stuff like that. And they don't feel like being involved with that. They're pretty much over being a Mormon. And I mean, I feel like if they can make that decision for themselves at that age and they know what they want and they know what they're talking about, then let them be. But I guess because they're under 18 or whatever, then maybe they can. I don't know. But I think they should be able to make that choice up to themselves, and you keep forcing them into this religion that they don't want to be in and they're not happy in because they're saying that the people are always judging them all the time. So I'm just like, that's just too much. What else, child? Meredith, she picking up her husband from the airport in like a car service or whatever. They had like a nice little kiss, and that was about the nicest thing that happened in that car ride, because other than that, they talking about, because he works out in Ohio. I forgot what she said he does, but he has to be out there. That's where the main office, the corporate office is, and he basically like, look, when ski season is over, because I guess that's when she gets a lot of customers during ski season, which makes sense. Are you gonna come to Ohio with me? And she like, no, ain't nobody moving to Akron, Ohio, or Caton, Ohio. He was like, well, we could go to Akron. She was like, no, ain't nobody doing that. So she was saying like all throughout their marriage, that all she had to do was relocate, and she got over that. So every time he talks about relocating, it's a trigger for her. So she doesn't want to talk about nothing about relocating. She don't want to hear the word relocate. She don't want to hear the word nothing. So they get all in like this tizzy and stuff, and so she like, look, I don't even want to talk about it no more because it's frustrating me, and it's supposed to be like the first date and it's not going very well, so let's just cancel this talk. And he was like, all right, well, you brought it up. She was like, well, now I want to end it. So I was just like, child. Then what else? Then we see Meredith. She dressed like aluminum foil, and she chatting with her husband, and she telling him how what happened at the little luncheon thing. And so then we see Jen, she talking to her husband about what happened at the luncheon thing. So of course they're telling it through their different point of view and their story and stuff like that. So not Heather, Lord, Mary, she telling her husband how she called her like a grandfather MFer, and how how she felt about it basically, and how she what she say? I can't even remember what the hell she said. Oh, how Jen keeps picking on her, basically. How Jen keeps picking on her. How she feels like it's she's a trigger for Jen and stuff like that. And the husband is like, well, she's just jealous and I don't understand and we shouldn't care about them and yada yada yada. On the other side, Jen, she's telling her side of the story and she like, yeah, because I came in there sharing my story and then she was cutting me off, called me a hoodlum and all this other stuff. And then she don't want to go around 7-Eleven around black people. I said, what did that have to do with the luncheon? Like, you brought that up, but whatever. Her husband giving her a motivational speech and stuff. And he like, look, you can't do those things and don't worry about her. That's on her. That's how she feel. But you gonna rise above it all. You gonna be free. And you like he giving her like this big old pep talk and stuff. And she like, thank you, honey. Thank you. Thank you. And so she feeling all good about herself and whatever like that. They just not gonna be friends. Like they just really not gonna be friends. And it's just because I mean they fighting over stupid shit. Like it's just it's stupid at this point. I mean, especially Jen with the whole, because she wanted to equate her smell like the hospital to her aunt being amputated, and then she can't get over that because she claimed that the child was talking about her family, when she wasn't talking about her family. She was just basically saying like, you smell like the hospital, girl. Like you smell like the hospital. Take a shower. But like it's so crazy. And then Jen calling her grandfather MFer, and Jen was like really drunk, so maybe she don't remember she called her that. But like I said in the beginning, Mary could have just said, look, this is what you said, this is how I felt, and this is what I'm owed, basically, and that could have been squashed. But they just want to go back and forth for no damn reason. And I just thought it was funny how Mary's husband was like, oh, she's jealous of you, she want what you got and all this other stuff. But Jen's husband was like, look, we're gonna rise above it, you know, it's not you, it's her. Like, we're not about that fighting life and stuff. Because Jen was like, I'm gonna beat her ass, because that makes me so mad, because my whole family is black, and then she don't want to be around 7-Eleven with black people. And I was like, girl, when did she say that? Whatever. But I understood her point, because like that would offend me too. Like, damn, you talking about like black, they gonna rob you or something like that? Like, all black people don't rob, kill, or murder. I mean, kill and murder is the same thing, but they don't all do that, same as all white people don't do that. Like, so her issue, I can understand where she was coming from, but I was like, did she say that? Because we didn't hear her say that. So I don't know. But at any rate, I mean, because she could have just said, if it's a lot of people outside the convenience, because you know Jim be putting a lot of extra on some shit. So who knows? Until we see a clip of Mary saying that, then look, I don't know. But her husband like, look, interracial issues is real. Like, that really happens and stuff like that. Some black people don't like black people. Some like, so he was telling her. So like, but I did find it funny how the different views of the husbands was. Anyway, we see Whitney. She doing jiu-jitsu with her brother. So this is her. Dude, I think they should. No, they don't share the same mom. Do they share the same mom? Yeah, I think they share the same mom, different dad. Because she was saying like, the dad had 2 kids, the mom had 2 kids. They came together with 4 kids and then had 2 kids together. So they share the same mom, basically. And so they're talking, and she was taking him down, and this was a big boy, and Whitney is little, so he was like, look, I need you in here full time, because you know what you're doing. So I was like, damn. I liked her little confessional look with the like, I guess she was going for the Marilyn Monroe look. That was cute. I need somebody to get, that's what I meant to talk about earlier. I need somebody to get Meredith in that wig she be having on. What is that? But anyway, I like Whitney. I was like, she got like 5 different confessional looks in the same damn clip. But she's cute. I like Whitney. They're talking about the dad, and basically when the parents divorced, it was like they, of course they separated, but it was like the dad's kids took his side, and then mom's kids took her side, and then somehow along the way they all got like against dad except for Whitney. So they're talking about what the dad is going to do. So he was in rehab for 7 days. He went to a detox facility for 30 days, and now he's going to go to a sober living place for 3 months, because he was having like withdrawals and stuff like that, and he didn't really feel like he was going to make it on the outside, so he wants to go back and stuff. And this is the dad's decision to do this, so she's really proud of him and stuff, and I'm proud of him too, because a lot of addicts go for their family reason, and I talked about this in something else. But they don't go for the reason that they want to. But she's saying that he wants to do this. He suggested this. This is what he wants to do. So I'm proud of him. And they were just kind of talking about, being there for the dad and being, like a motivation for him, and just send him like little texts here and there, little calls, little cards or whatever to keep his spirits high and keep him on the right track. So that's basically what he was talking about. We saw Lisa. They had like she was having a birthday party for her 8-year-old son. He was turning 8, Henry. They was having a good time. They was bowling, and then she was just talking to her husband about what Meredith and Seth is going through, and she was saying like they're at this stage where they don't feel like they accomplished a lot. Well, this is from what she thinks is going on with them. And she was saying like her husband had been married for 20 years, I think she said. And she was saying like sometimes we get out of sync. Like one time I threw his Rolex out the window. Out the car window because he was getting on my nerves. But we in a marriage, so we got to make it work or whatever. I was just like, girl. So the producer's like, well, did he go back and get it? She's like, yeah, he went back and get it. It was a long time because it fell into a snowbank. It took him a long time to get it, but he got it. He got it back. I was cracking up. And then she was saying like, I don't perform for presents. Like I just deserve presents and stuff. And he was like, I mean, but if you want to do some performance for some presents, I mean. She was like, I said, ooh, that man, he probably ain't getting nothing. Then we saw Whitney. She with her dad. They driving to the sober living place, and they just having like a conversation about, what I just talked about, him getting help and stuff. And she said like she's been through the ringer emotionally, spiritually, financially, and she was saying like he's choosing this. Basically, that's what they was talking about. And then Meredith and her husband. Child, this part had me crying. Because like I guess Seth was going back to work and stuff, and she was saying like, "Are you leaving?" And it sounded like she was going to miss him when he was gone. But then she was saying like, yeah, he can't. He was like he can't stay, and so then she said, "Well, it's like a hard couple of weeks. We've been arguing and stuff like that, and I just think we need like more separation. Like we just need to be separated for real." And then if we both decide to come back together, then that's when we come back together. But we need to work on ourselves individually. And then maybe once we work on ourselves individually, we can come back together and stuff. I was like, damn. And he was like, well, I don't want to be separated. I don't want to do this, but if you don't want me here, I'll go or whatever. And he was like, he don't want to do this, but he knows for the best. And he was like 25 years. And then he started crying. I said, oh God, Seth. Oh my God. So then he started crying. They started hugging. And then Meredith started crying. I am not finna cry on here, but it was just like, it was really like emotional. So I was just like, I hope they can work it out. Because they look like, I mean, they both love each other. They both look like they want to be in each other's lives. Maybe they just got to separate, test the waters or whatever like that. And like she said, work on each person separately and then maybe come back together. Who knows what's in the cards? Who knows what's written down in stone or whatever on a scroll? Who knows what it is? But that's what he's hoping. And I think like a little bit of Meredith is hoping that too. But yeah, I think she might got somebody else. Okay. But maybe. And then he left. And then the dog was like, wait, where you going? The dog followed him out. And so then Heather is meeting up with Mary because Heather is saying like she wants Mary to know that she can be loyal to both her and Jen and she can be friends with them both and stuff. And I'm like, girl, unless you can really be neutral and not put your 2 cents in and just listen to what's going on, then you can't. I mean, you can. But if you can't do that, then you can't. Like, ain't no way. And I don't think Heather wants to be neutral. I think she's more on Jen's side, but she want to get to know Mary and stuff like that. But Mary is there, and Mary tells her, like, I think Jen was basically, she's triggered by me. I think she's jealous of me. And Heather's like, well, why would she be jealous? Because I'm black. Like, I'm black, and she's not used to black people having all of this stuff. And, like, Heather was confused. And I'm like, of course you're confused because you're not black. Because some people do get jealous about that. Like, well, how that black person got it, but I don't care how she get it and she black, like black, because she thinking that Jen looking down on her or whatever. But I don't think that's the issue. I think Jen wants to be the top fish. I do think that, and she just wants to be more. She wants to bring more drama to the show, maybe. So that's why she doing all of this. That's what I think it is. I don't think it got nothing to do with Mary being black. I don't think it got nothing to do with Mary having the riches or whatever she got, or being married to her grandfather or her step grandfather. I don't think it got nothing to do with that. I think it got to do with Jen just wanting to make her name bigger. Because what does she do? I can't remember what she does. But I think she just wants to get more attention, get her name out there more, bring all this drama because she on TV, and then boom. That's what I think she's trying to do. That's basically it. Because like, was she doing all this before? Because it didn't seem like it until what, like 3 months, or what they say, 3 months before she blew up. So I think that's all it is. She just want to get some more shine on TV. And Heather was basically like, well, like, he's not your grandfather, he's not your blood grandfather. Like, she was fishing. She was really fishing. And she was like, no, like, he's my step, and my grandmother, she left it in the will that I had to marry him and stuff. And then she tells us it took her like 2 years to actually marry him, but she made peace with it or whatever. And she told Heather, like, she put it in her will and I had to obey her because I saw what she did with the church. So I thought, well, if she did all this with the church, then she must know what she's talking about. And then look at me, like I'm doing all this or whatever. So I was just like, girl, And then here go Heather trying to make it equate to her, talking about something. Well, yeah, because I was in the Mormon church. Because she told us. She was like, she was in the Mormon church, so she had to marry the guy, even though she didn't love him. And maybe that's how it was for her. I mean, like, we have a lot in common and stuff. And I was just like, girl, that's not... that's not the same. That's not the same. That's not the same thing. You marrying somebody because you thought you had to marry him because he was Mormon, you was Mormon, so boom, I got to marry him, versus her grandma put in the will to marry her ex-husband or her widow husband. Two different things, Heather. Two different things. And Mary basically was saying about Jen, because Heather was like, well, y'all two have a lot in common. And Mary was like, look, that bridge is burnt. I'm done with it. Ain't no repairing that bridge. Ain't no bridge. We gonna have to walk around. Like, no. It ain't happening. And that's pretty much how it went off. I was just like, these women is a mess. I'm over Mary and Jen and this issue with the dead auntie. No, I don't know if the auntie did. Did she die? Did the auntie die? I don't think the auntie died. I'm sorry. I ain't even gonna put that out in the atmosphere. But I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of it. Like, let it go, Jen. Let it go. She ain't say nothing back. Well, she did. I take that back. She did say something back. But it was in a confessional, so she don't really know what she said unless somebody leaked it. But anyway, Jen, let it go. Let it go, girl. Let it go. Either you going to be friends with her or you not going to be friends with her. But I'm about sick of it. It's just so stupid. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all felt about the show, about this whole Jen and Mary thing. What y'all felt about Meredith and Seth. I thought it was real sad. 25 years. Jesus. And who else was on this step? But that was pretty much it. Oh, and Whitney and her daddy. But I'm just proud of them. Ain't nothing really to talk about them. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all felt down there in them comments below. If y'all like this recap review, go ahead and hit the little thumbs up button, and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified when I drop new videos. All right, y'all. Until next time.